Hi, welcome to Carrie Creates Cards. I hope you enjoy making today's card. Please like and subscribe. Today I'm going to have a go at making my own texture paste. I recently watched a video by Angie's Happy Hobby and she made her own texture paste, so I'm going to use her recipe. And what Angie did was she had a half a cup of baby powder, it smells lovely anyway. Let's hope it turns out okay. Well, Angie seemed to look fine when she had it done. Oops. We'll say half a cup of powder. Then she had a quarter cup of acrylic paint, and I'm using white. It'll be fun getting it back out of this container, I think. I think that will do. Not able to get all of that out of there, so I'm going to have to maybe just add a little bit more in from the tube. I'd say that'll be okay. And then she had 1/8 of a cup of PVA glue. Now I don't have a container that has 1/8 of a cup, so I'm just going to use and hope for the best. I'll use half of this quarter cup. I don't think these measurements have to be exact. I think they're just approximate because I've seen other people do it before. I think I'll take the lid off of that. It'll make it a bit easier. Because I know if you want it thicker, you can add more powder, and if you want it looser, you can add more paint, and I'd say that that's okay. So there we go. Just add that in. And that was more than a half that I put in there, so whatever comes out of it will be fine. And I believe it lasts okay if you put it in an airtight container. There we go. It's another little bit. Oh, made that worse. Got some out and put more back in. So let's give that a good mix up. And it does seem fairly thick, if I'm honest. I may need to add some more paint, or I'll keep going and see. Guess it depends on how thick you want it. Yeah, it's getting a bit looser the more I mix it. Maybe this wasn't the right tool. Okay, I don't have one of those little palette knives, so I'm just coming in here with a regular bread knife or butter knife or whatever you'd like to call it. And yeah, that feels better. So I guess you just mix it well until you get the right consistency, and that's looking quite good. It's looking very similar to any texture paste that I have seen. I did have some, I don't think I had the lid on correctly and it dried out. So I think you just need a good airtight container and this will store quite well. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm coming in here with some distress ink. This one is picked raspberry. And I'm going to pop some of that down there. I'm going to use this to colour some of the texture paint for my project. So I'll just pop a little bit of that down there. I don't need a very large amount. And hopefully it'll colour it for me the way I want it. Let's get a bit more ink there. I probably went overboard with the amount of this that I put out anyway, but not to worry. Yeah, that's made it a bit darker now again. So next I'm going to come in with a green. I've got this bundle Sage. I'm just going to add some of that there. Okay, that's not dark enough of a green, I don't think, for what I want. I'm going to pop down some of the Rainforest, the Versafine Clair there. It's a much darker green, and hopefully that'll do the job for me. God, I'm making a right old mess. Okay, that doesn't seem to want to do the job, does it? So what next? Maybe I'll try a blue instead. Just going to pop down some of this broken china. And hope for the best. This probably isn't a good idea. I guess that's where the sprays would come in handier, isn't it really? Let's see what we'll do here. If you don't like a mess, then you're not going to like this very much. This little tool isn't the best for it either. Yeah, I've got a bit of glue, a bit of blue I should say, going on there. Let's see. So I think I'm just going to have to go with that. I'm just going to pop a bit of the chipped sapphire down. I don't think you can see it there because it's a much darker blue. So it might help just to add a bit more of the blue colour into that texture paste there. Hopefully. Please forgive me, but it is my first go, so yeah, that seems to be working better, I think. Sometimes it's good to watch somebody learning something as well. I mean, you learn by doing, I think. So, Angie didn't make this much of a mess in her tutorial, so maybe it might be better if you headed over and watched Angie's happy hour to see Angie make the texture paste. But anyway, that's that. So I just wipe my hands. So next I'm coming in, or finally I'm coming in, my 8x8 card base. And I got a 6x6 piece of cardstock, which I cut down, and I'm going to be using one of these deco stencils by Craft Sensations. So this is the one that I've chosen to use. And I just want to get that in the right place. And I'm just making sure, yeah, it's that side. You can kind of tell the rough side usually is underneath. So I want to pop that stencil down there, and I might actually tape it down. Just pop that there. Like I said, I don't have a palette knife. I'm just coming over here so that you can see what I'm doing. Maybe pop that down there. So I'm coming in with some of this texture paste. Now I know it'd be better to have the correct tool for this, but I can't find my one. I did have one, but it's been a long time since I've used it. And I had a look, and I don't know if somebody borrowed it or what, but it's disappeared. So I'm just going to go in over the stencil like that. Take that off. Just give it a wipe. I'm coming back in, and I'm going to pick up some of this, I don't know what colour you would call it now, kind of a blue, purpley blue colour. And really I could have done with having this tape down on all 4 sides, but I don't, so I'm just going to have to go with it the way it is. There we go. A bit more of that. So hopefully this won't be a total disaster. All I can do is hope for the best. Little bit there now. There we are. I'm just going to wipe that off, and I want to go back in here. Let's get rid of that blue bit if I can from the pink. Now, I'm just going to remove that now, and I'm going to be very careful when I lift this. Oh, that's lovely. So I'm going to put this into some soapy water. Oh, that's very nice. Wonderful. So I've just cleaned that off with some soapy water, and as you can see, it's come up fine. Now, my original plan was to go in underneath here, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to leave this dry off completely before I move on to the next phase with this. So I'll just do a bit of cleaning up here. I might be able to put this bit, mix the 2 of them and put them into a small container maybe, so as not to waste them. It's taken quite a long time to dry because it was fairly thick. I'm just going to carefully remove that top piece, and I'm going to come in with my heat gun, and I'm just going to go over that to try and help it dry faster. So I think that should be dry enough to work on now. I should have really stuck it down when I was working on it initially, because it wasn't quite straight, but look, not to worry. It'll be fine once I put the tape on the back. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with this lovely Lavinia stamp called Fairytale, and I'm going to pop her onto an acrylic block. So I'm just going to try it out first of all on a spare piece of paper, and I'm not sure. I've got Warm Breeze and the Twilight, and I think both of those colours would look quite nice with the others. So I'm going to have a go at both, and then I can judge it and see. It's the best thing to do, I think, because I'm not really sure. So we'll pop down the Warm Breeze. This block is a little bit too small for that stamp, but I'm going to try the Twilight and just see. I can compare them both then. Twilight is a lovely navy, deep navy colour. So, I'm still a bit unsure, but I think I'm leaning more towards the Twilight. Yeah, I think I'll go with the Twilight. And I'm going to just stamp it onto this. My original plan, as I said, was to do something under here with the texture paste, but maybe I will. I'll see. Anyway, I'll get this part done. So just make sure that that's inked up well. And this is a smooth white cardstock, so there's no texture, so it should stamp fairly well on the acrylic block, I hope. Now, let's see. I think probably about there. And I'm just going to leave it for a few moments because I'm not using the stamping platform. I thought it might do some damage to the embossed image. And as that stamped quite well on there, I don't see why it shouldn't do the same here. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So next I'm coming back in with that. Will I put the bit underneath? Do you know, I don't think I will. But I might just come and just ground under her. Just tear a little bit of cardstock. And I'm going to just put a little bit of a hill in there. Use this navy. Usually there's enough on these brushes when I haven't washed them off to do what I'm looking to do. Just a little bit more up there. And yes, that's quite nice. So I'm coming in next with some double-sided foam tape. And I'm going to pop that just along the edge. I'm hoping that that texture paste is dry. I think it is, but I'll be careful all the same. And again, I'm going to pop a little bit of glue just down there. I might need a pin for that. I need to get some of those little metal nibs. Okay, I'm coming back in with my base card now, and I'm just going to pop that down. Hopefully I'll get the alignment okay. I don't think it was quite perfect to begin with, and I would like it to be straight on here. So I'm just going to come back in this piece of paper and lightly go over it to adhere the double-sided foam. I'm not pressing too hard because I'm not sure if we're 100% dry there yet. I just popped you in a little bit closer there. That's the finished card. And I have to say it's came out a lot better than I thought. And I certainly will use the rest of that texture paste that I have made there. As for whether I'd make it again or not, I don't know. It was quite a mess, if I'm honest. There was a lot of cleanup afterwards, but if you don't mind that, then I guess nothing ventured, nothing gained, and it's nice to try new things. I think it keeps your brain young. So I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you have, please like and subscribe. Thank you.